Getting about this. Thanks again for tuning into yet another video. Infamous coming at you live from the West Coast yet again, San Jose, California. So here we are. I'm going to be reading the comments off of my TikTok post on the VVT 2023 VVT 121 or 121 VVT system. You know, just reading through the comments, we have quite a few likes, and of course there's a percentage of people that are not happy with this overall system. I guess it really depends if you've owned a Ford recently. From the comments, based off the comments, and of course some of the posts, the community posts that I posted, some of you guys were mentioning, hey, this is potentially an issue, not that we're seeing exactly how this thing works. So like myself, I don't have any experience, so I had to look it up. I looked into it a little bit. I don't entirely know what's going on with these cam phasers, but it looks like they were recalled from Ford. And I guess if you have a certain amount of miles and stuff like that, then you're pretty much covered, or something like that. I'm not entirely sure, but yes, a good amount of models have this issue. So let's just look at the comments real quick. If you guys want to click on the link, I'll have it in the description in case you're wondering and you want to look at this potential problem. Like I said, maybe Harley Davidson learned from Ford's mistakes, from Ford's issue. Maybe Harley, maybe they address some of those issues, but based on some of the comments, there's still other issues on Harley's behalf because they're known to burn oil. All right, you have blow by. That's maybe if you have this system, you have to be a little bit more aware of where your oil level is, because blow by, burning of the oil. It's just other factors in, because you guys already seen some of my posts. Oil consumption based on Harley is normal. It's normal for your Harley to have a little bit of consumption, depending on the person or depending on the engine. You might have to check your oil every 500 miles or 1,000. A few people in the Facebook group have mentioned by the time it's 5,000 or 1,000 or 3,000 miles, they have to add a quart of oil. So this is, like I said, it's concerning, especially so with the system. So let's just look at some of the comments so we could react, and maybe you guys can probably insert your own feedback or your own knowledge. Maybe you have something to share. Like I said, the last Ford truck I owned was an '89 F350. I pretty much stayed away from them around 2003. That was probably the last year that they were reliable, depending on what model you got. All right, so here's the first post. Anyone else think about the cam phaser issues on the 5.4 Fords? So there was 5 replies to this. Man, this sounds a lot more service instead of keeping it simple. There's other issues. There's EPA. Sportsters were banned in Europe. There's going to be carb. There's a lot of different things happening depending on the government, depending on the country. Who knows? Like I said, this VVT system could be, getting Harley or extending. I've mentioned this in another video. They're extending the life of the Milwaukee 8 so they can meet EPA regulations. So it could be a number of different factors, of course. They also added a different cooling system, and I'll probably make a different video on that. So cam phasers in a Harley, I guess Harley hasn't heard how big of a failure cam phasers have been for the past 15 years. So I believe this started somewhere in 2007, and it's been going on since 2019. So it's an issue with the phasers, with the oiling system, stuff like that. Like I said, click on the link. You'll get a better understanding of how this new VVT system works. So let's move on, and I'll stick with my Evo engine, making things way too complicated. Like I said, it's probably EPA breathing down Harley's neck. The current administration is pushing a lot of EV stuff right now, so there's going to be incentives for manufacturers to provide more green, more EV, like the Livewire, and I believe they're already working on another model. So, and then of course we're seeing the Revolution Max models. Those are going to be more efficient. it's just, I mean, they're between a hard place, a rock and a hard place, with consumers, the government, EPA. There's, you know, like I said, there's a lot of things to consider, and the future of the manufacturer also has to be considered with all these new green deals that's been going on, or the Inflation Reduction Act has a lot of the green and EV stuff. Straight gears to drive rods, much better and simpler. I'm not sure what that means. Nothing can go wrong. I think that's like the meme or the song. I'll just keep my old Evo, kind of like on the other one. Evo, maybe it's a Sportster, maybe it's a twin cam. So does this translate to justified gains? I always expected Harley to be simple, fun to ride here and see. Chasing H2R, I don't see the point. I guess that's more of the performance aspect. 121 push rod. If you're still doing air cooled, you know, it's a little bit more on the sound and the tradition of Harley Davidson. I don't think it's, you know, going for much performance. I mentioned in my other video, VVT, it's more efficient. If you look at the gas mileage between the 121 and the 117, you get a little bit more range. I believe it's like an extra 3 miles per gallon or something along those lines because of the VVT system. So it's a little bit more efficient, and you benefit a little bit of performance because of that extra displacement. But I'm not a, you know, mechanic or by any means. I just understand these things a little bit because I've been in this I've been in this industry for a while. I've been a huge fan since my teenage years. I've been, you know, following how all this stuff works. So yeah, let's move on down. Still got to keep it cool. I believe that's the new cooling system. Maybe, I'm not sure. Japanese has been doing it since the 70s. Yes, my Metric Cruiser since 2007. It's a 2007 1100 Shadow. They have, of course, overhead cam, and you know, there's benefits. Gear driven, liquid cooled. A lot of the things that, you know, Harley's they're just starting to introduce in the recent models, the Revolution Max and stuff like that. So, all right, let's move on down. You telling me they got VTEC? I hope it's not like the Ford cam phaser. Everybody's bringing up the Ford cams. Here's another one. Cam phaser will make the repair shop millions of dollars, because of all the repairs. And, you know, it's potentially, from what I've seen, there could be some major issues. You know, a huge engine failure. I'm not entirely sure. So VVT, good news. Why isn't it liquid cooled like the 1250 Rev Max? That would allow for real big power. Like I said, they have those options. Harley Davidson has the option. If you're in the market for performance, you could buy a Revolution Max. They have the Pan America, they have the Nightster, they have the Sportster S, and they have kits out there already. Saddlemen already has a kit for the Pan America to make it into a cafe racer, and it looks fantastic. It looks really neat. Single seat. They get rid of, you know, a lot of the junk on the back. It looks very impressive. I'll probably input an image here so you guys can look. They're on Instagram, so you can check them out. Something, you know, quite unique. Let's move on. I'm skipping over a few. You guys can read them yourself. Cam phaser just makes more problems. Just ask an auto mechanic. I am never going to get one of these. 115 horsepower at 2,500 RPM. 140 foot-pounds of torque at 3,000. That's a lot of torque. Yes, it is. From factory, you know, from Harley Davidson. All right, sorry. It's from Harley Davidson. 140 foot-pounds of torque straight from the factory is a lot. We all know Harley likes to underperform. Harley likes to leave a lot of or not. Harley doesn't like leaving a lot of meat on the bone. I mean, their main, you know, revenue or their profits are all in their aftermarket, on their Screaming Eagle and on the aftermarket. That's why they have these stage 1s, stage 4s, cams, torque cams, power cams. And recently we've been seeing they're offering their own plate, their own chest kit. They're offering intakes. They're offering air filters, air breathers. They have a lot of different options now, and that's where, you know, they make up That's the Harley tax. You buy unfinished bikes, and then you got to sink in probably about $15,000 to $20,000 to get them to perform like a modern bike. So it's a premium bike. You know, you just got to pay the surcharge of $20,000 to get it, to get it there. Welcome to 1995 Harley Davidson. Yeah, so the cam, the VVT, that has been around for some time. They've been, you guys already know, since the 80s. We've seen multiple valves per cylinder. I'm not gonna get into it, but yes, we've seen this technology in other vehicles a lot longer than what Harley has introduced. Like I said, my 2007 metric Shadow has has variable slash adjusters. It's got liquid cooled. It's got, you know, an overhead cam. Yes, so we know that Harley still uses a single pin crank, and they're still using push rods. So let's move on down. I think for the reason being they're introducing the VVT is, of course, they might have a surplus of supplies of these jugs. If they were to, of course, re-engineer the heads, you know, like do something like overhead cams, then they'll have to, of course, produce new jugs, and then potentially redesign the coolant passages to get it liquid cooled, stuff like that. The new coolant system uses their current system, but it just redirects it a little bit. I don't want to talk about it in this video, but I'll probably release a whole separate video on just the coolant, so you guys can get a better idea how that works. Problems that all I see give them 3 to 4 years to work out the issues first. So this is along the same lines that I've already mentioned. For year one guys are going to be the guinea pigs for this stuff. We see the issues with the 2017 Milwaukee 8s. You know, they have something issues. Harley has not, you know, recalled any of those models. We see some of the issues with the Revolution Max, electrical issues. You know, I've gotten messages about how many times they've been at the dealership with the Revolution Max engines. Year one VVT, it's going to be, it might be hectic. I don't know, but so far Harley's track record is not that good when it comes to, you know, recalls, customer service. You guys see the death wobble. Harley never addressed those issues, but I really doubt Harley's going to do anything if there is, you know, an issue along the lines of these cam phasers. But like I said, maybe we'll see. We'll see what happens. The only thing we can do is just cross our fingers. The good thing is people that are buying the CVOs, they'll have money to get them fixed in a couple of years time anyway. So these are the guys that have expendable amount of cash to buy a $50,000 bike. These guys should, you know, be aware of what they're getting themselves into, and they should have enough money to fix these issues when it's 3, 4, 5 years down the road. Like I said, the Milwaukee 2017 pumps have never been fixed. So if you buy a 2017, 2018, maybe even a 2019, you know, maybe you'll have to put some money down on a new pump. So let's move on down. Just what you want on a road trip is an engine body can work on. You don't need high tech to sell bikes. You need lower prices. 2023 has been the year of price increases when it comes to Harley Davidson. The Street Bob has been a $14,000 bike pretty much up until last year. Now it's an $18,000 bike with the surcharge and all the other fees. So 18.25. I made a video on it. So let's move on down. SNS 124 Evo done. Crate engine, reliable. SNS has been building Harley Davidson engines for a very long time. Very, very long time. Reliable. They know what they're doing. I mean, they've addressed some of the issues before. I think they're a little bit more responsive when it comes to, you know, older, or I don't want to get into it, but there was a little bit of an issue when it came to their heads. I guess the torquing wasn't the right pattern or something like that, but they addressed that. You guys can see that video with Moonshine Harley Davidson where they address, and they just updated the procedure to make sure the SNS kit was a little bit more reliable. So that's all I'm going to say I'm rambling quite a bit in this video. Oh boy, Honda was the only one that got it right. We are in trouble, boys. So yeah, I mean, like I said, it really depends. Honda's been making all kinds of bikes for a long time. They have different engine types. Harley Davidson focuses on V-twin, while you see Yamaha, BMW, Honda, Suzuki, they have multiple different options. You guys see Indian, you know, their Power Plus engine, the Thunderstroke. Yeah, they manufacture all kinds of different engines, and I think, you know, the Africa Twin, they're all pretty much tried and true by now. But anything to make them heavier, wider, or more complex and less reliable. I think the CVO is lighter by 40 pounds. Proven my ass. They have countless issues on both Pan America and Sportster. More BS from Harley Davidson. There's a ton of comments, guys. You guys can just click on the link and you guys will be able to see you know, what everybody's mentioning. Big fail. They are not reliable in cars. No one changes their oil. Build a proper motor and you won't need this garbage. So that's where I mentioned at the beginning of the video, you guys have to be a little bit more on your oil level when it comes to, you know, this new cam phaser. Can't wait for the oil consumption issues. Harley, yeah, this is where I mentioned earlier in the video. Can't wait for the oil consumption issues. Already Harley has to become even bigger issue when the phaser doesn't work right due to low oil levels. I made a whole video on oil consumption already if you guys want to check that out. I will never buy that problematic POS. Every VVT system fails. I think not every VVT system, but, you know, push rod style, I guess. Push rod, I'm not too sure. Or American VVT, maybe. No need. WTF Harley? It's not a rocket ship. Sellouts. That's, you know, it's probably EPA carb, you know, passing the stricter and stricter air regulations that we're seeing, not just in, you know, the United States, but everywhere in the globe. Just overall, you know, R&D budget wise, you can't manufacture different components, different engines for a different country. You want to be able to build, you know, mass produce one model for, you know, everybody else, or for the entire market. You want to be able to just build one specific model and not, of course, alter and move and change parts like that. So let's keep on going. Anyways, enough rambling. We're getting close to the 20-minute mark. There was another comment on here suggesting that anybody who makes a deletion kit for this 121 is going to make millions of dollars, or they're going to make a bunch of money. So far, based off of the video and how it works, it looks like it is possible to get rid of the system. The only thing that's pretty much changed is the cam. This is the same chest, or the plate. It's the same plate. Even, of course, the little crank. That's this little rotation device is the same. The chain, like I said, pretty much everything is the same. It's just the phaser, the solenoid, and these couple pieces here. So you can see that this little piece goes inside of the cam, and that's what supplies. And of course, everything else other than these few pieces is it's the same. You know, same pump, same everything. And like I said, everything's identical. So there might be somewhere or somehow a deletion out there that you could remove the solenoid, or, you know, or disable this piece and just, you know, run it as is. I'm pretty sure there's going to be a kit out there. I don't know. You guys let me know in the comments. What do you guys think about this new VVT system on a push rod? Something that hasn't been, you know, quite proven in domestic vehicles. So I'm not too sure. I own a couple VVT automobiles. Mine are, of course, imports. I own a couple Toyotas. I've owned Hondas, and I haven't had an issue with this system. So you guys, let me know in the comments, what do you guys think? You guys excited, or are you guys a little bit worried? So far, it's got over 3,000 likes, and we have about 200 comments. So You know, that's, like I said, people seem to like it, but we really don't know what's going to be, you know, the result of this, maybe for another 2 to 3 years, maybe, you know, longer than that. We'll see what happens. So thanks for tuning in. You guys stay out there, stay safe. Life's a risk. Get out there and ride. Later.